it's Marian. Welcome to 25 Days of Plantmas. This is a special My Oasis Life holiday series where I'll be talking about at least one of my plants per day, every day during Vlogmas. I'll be sharing with you the plant's journey with me ever since I've gotten it, all of our highs and lows, and of course how I care for and propagate the plant. So let's go check my plant event calendar and see which one of my plants I'll be sharing with you today. Today is day 7 of 25 Days of Plantmas. And our plantmas of the day is my nice plants. So first we're going to start with my nice plants, which are my plants that have really lived up to its beginner plant status. There's no false advertising when it comes to referring to them as plants of steel, and they're really easy care, no fuss, and very hard to kill. And I had beginner plants that I was told that they are very easy to take care of and just impossible to kill them, and I have. So these are the plants that are like proven that I would recommend to anyone getting, especially for people who believe that they don't have a green thumb or they're just starting out with their houseplant journey. I swear by these plants that these are just like plants that you should get if you're just starting out on your plant journey, because for me they are proven nice plants. So the very first one is, of course, the ZZ plant. So the ZZ plant got a lot of hype this year and maybe in previous years, but especially this year, and everyone was like trying to get one. And this wasn't a hard plant to find. I've seen this in garden centers all the time, in plant nurseries and whatnot, but I've always debated whether getting one, because at first I didn't really get the hype in it, and second, I wasn't sure what size of plant I want to get, if I just want a small one, if I wanted a big one. And sometimes when I have convinced myself to get the ZZ plant, the ones that I find in garden centers or in nurseries are just not worth the price they're selling them for, because it is a very popular house plant right now. Some stores really do overprice this, even the garden centers who are known for like cheap, affordable house plants. But one day I was doing my grocery shopping at Trader Joe's and I saw this outside, and I just saw that they had ZZ plants and they were just stocking it up. I actually had to wait for the lady at Trader Joe's to finish stocking up before I perused through the ZZ plants. And they had the ZZ plant in this white ceramic pot already, and they were selling it for $11, which I thought was a really good deal for its size and the fact that it already came with a ceramic pot. The ones that I've seen being sold at Lowe's or at Home Depot or at other nurseries, the cheapest one that I found was also around the same price, but it was a lot smaller than this. So I was kind of like, this one is a really good deal, I should get one. And since I know this to be low light, at first I just had it downstairs at our bar area that is next to a north facing window, so it wasn't getting a lot of light. And as far as watering this, I just followed Nick Pelegi's advice. If I'm watering this more than I pay my rent, then I'm watering it too much. So I only water this every first of the month. I haven't fertilized it, and so far it's been doing pretty well, and it has grown a little bit since I've gotten it. And as far as watering it, I only put like a cup of water in it, because as I found out during the first time I watered it, this is not a real drainage saucer. Like the water doesn't really seep through in it, because I think the pot is glued to the saucer so that the water doesn't come out anyway, which is unfortunate. So what I do when it comes to watering it, I just don't put more than a cup of water when I water it, and I use filtered water when I do water it. As far as fertilizing, I haven't fertilized this plant, but I do see like this green pellets that we normally see with plants, and those are like slow release fertilizers. So I think this is enough fertilizer for it for now. And as far as repotting, I think I might need to repot this next growing season, but if I can keep it in this spot, I will. But I think this is okay with being root bound or being like tightly packed like this. So I think I'm just going to keep it in this spot for as long as I can. And it's a really beautiful plant, no problems with it, no problems with browning leaves or pests or anything like that. So I think just the trick with this is just follow Nick's advice, is to never water it more than you pay your rent. So just water it once a month, and if your plant is about this size, I suggest just watering it no more than a cup of water, and your plant should be fine. my next nice plant is my Fittonia. This is actually one of the very first plants that I got after I got my Fiddle Fig, and when I'm starting to build my collection. I found this at Walmart. I was like choosing it between 3 other plants, and honestly, I don't know anything about Fittonias or nerve plants. I didn't even know the name of this plant when I got it, and I didn't know for the longest time. I just went by its aesthetic. So when I got it home, the instructions that I got in the little plant label that it comes with is to keep soil moist. So I was watering it every time I feel like this soil was a little bit dry, but then eventually I realized that it didn't really need that much water even during the growing season, but it never gave me any problems. The plant still just continued to grow and grow this big. When I got it, it's probably just the size of this one plant. And there's 3 plants in this pot, and now it's just this big. And I also love that how it kind of like formed a heart shape. So it's like really pretty. And this one has been just like, you know, quietly growing in its space. Never gave me any fuss, never gave me any brown leaves, any pests, nothing. And for this one, this is also my plant that gives me the best sign that it needs water. It is my most communicative plant. If it needs water, the leaves will just like wilt down and droop, and that's when I give it water. It's just a very easy to care for plant. It will let you know when it needs water. So when at first when I was just trying to like maintain the moisture of its soil, I was actually doing it wrong, but then I think I was overwatering it then. But even then, it did suffer any root rot. It just continued to thrive, never showed me any problems. But now I just wait for the leaves to droop before I water it, and it's also been doing pretty well. And this is also one of my plants that anywhere I put it in my room or in the house thrives. It thrives in bright light, medium light, low light, anywhere. I have plants, so-called beginner plants, that even if I just move it to a different corner in my small room, they act up. This one, it doesn't matter where I put it in my vanity, I put it at the bottom of my plant shelf, I put it in my side table. It works. It is very happy. I hang it on the wall. It thrives. It has no complaints, and it just continues to grow. And actually it still has actually still producing new leaves up here. So I'm really happy with this plant. I think the Fittonia is a very underrated plant, and it's such a beautiful plant, and I think more people should really get this and care for this plant because it's a very satisfying and a very rewarding plant, especially if you're a plant beginner. My next nice plant is the pink syngonium. I've always wanted a pink syngonium, but not enough to pay for it. I've always seen this in garden centers, but for like this size, maybe a little bit smaller, they were charging like $5 to $6 for it, and I just think it wasn't worth that price. So I never really got it, but then I attended a plant swap in DC. If you haven't seen that, I will link it up in the cards and down in the description. And I got a couple of cuttings of it and put it in this pot. I repotted it the moment I got it, and when I first got it, it had like 2 small leaves. I think this and this was the OG leaves. I'm not quite sure, but look at it now. And the plant swap happened in mid-September, and it's doing really good, and it's like produced so many leaves. And this is also the same situation with the Fittonia. I can put it anywhere in my room and it thrives, but I did learn that in order to keep the pink variegation, it is best to just give it medium light and not too bright light, because then it will start to lose its pink color. And I kind of did notice that when I was putting it a lot closer to the window or at the higher on my plant shelf, because this one is right next to a south-facing window, that it started to lose its variegation. But it works pretty much anywhere in my room, but it does work best in my vanity, which is a few feet away from any window I have in my room. As far as watering this, I also just wait for the top 2 inches of the soil to dry out. The instructions that I've got on this was kind of mixed. The person that I got this from said to keep the soil moist, but the instructions that I saw from fellow plant YouTubers is to wait for the soil to completely dry. So I just chose a happy medium, where I just wait for the top 2 inch of the soil to be dry, and then I water it. And so far it's been working well. And I also haven't fertilized this at all, except maybe for the earthworm castings that is included in my soil mixture. That's the only fertilizer it's currently getting right now. And I also never had any pest problem with this. And I do Like with most of my plants, I mist it every day, and that's probably the only extra thing that I do for this plant, but then I mist all my plants, so it's not really extra work for this plant, and it's been doing real great, and it's still popping out new growth. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 leaves that are coming out, and it's already late in the fall. So pink syngoniums are another, and this is also the plant that got me started on pink plants, and now like I love pink plants because of this pink syngonium, because this one was just so rewarding that it made me want to venture getting more pink plants. So yeah, the pink neon syngonium, highly recommended for plant beginners, and this is like my third nice plant. So another plant that's kind of the same situation as the pink syngonium, I've always wanted one, but not enough to pay for one. So I also got this at the same plant swap. I actually got 3 different cuttings of them. I have another one that's hanging in the powder room, which is a lot bigger. But I also managed to get a cutting of the curly version of the spider plant. And this one is propagating in sphagnum moss right now. And the roots are actually starting to show at the bottom, which is amazing. And this one was like a lot smaller when I first got this in the plant swap. I also repotted it right away when I got it. And this also works well in any situation. I had it in a corner shelf above my bed. I had it in the side table. I had this downstairs. Right now it's on my green wall. Yeah, it was in my plant shelf previously. And it also works well in any situation. Never had any pest problems. Also a very fast grower. And when it comes to watering it, I also just wait until the soil is dry before I water it. As far as light conditions, as far as I was told, it does prefer bright light, but for me so far it has worked in pretty much any light condition. But I would probably not put this in a low light condition, but I think it could tolerate a medium light condition, but it works best under bright light. So I just have it on my green wall right now, and it's worked pretty well. Haven't given me any problems at all, and it's a very fast grower. I can't wait for this baby to produce babies of its own. And the reason why I wanted to get a spider plant, because I saw one in Salt and Sundry, which is a boutique store in DC, where they had one sitting on top of a shelf in a pot that's slightly bigger than this one, maybe like a 6-inch pot, and it has like babies trailing, and it just looks so beautiful, and I kind of wanted that for this plant. I hope it produces babies soon. Right now it's still producing a lot of leaves and trying to make the foliage on top really full, which is really great. But I hope by next growing season I will see babies from this baby. And the last nice plant I'm going to feature is my pitcher plant. This is my very first carnivorous plant. I also had a Venus flytrap, but as we move into the winter season, it has gone to dormancy, so it's like outside chilling. But right now this pitcher plant is still going strong and still very much alive. When I got this at Lowe's on clearance for like $3, and it was also dormancy. Usually when you get carnivorous plants at garden centers, they come in these boxes, and you have to like get them out of dormancy before they start growing. And this is my very first foray into carnivorous plants. I always love carnivorous plants, especially Venus flytrap, and I initially thought it was a Venus flytrap, but it turned out to be a pitcher plant, which was okay, which is also great. And this one is amazing because when I got this, it probably only had 3 stems / leaves on it, and look at how much it's grown. And I've learned so much about carnivorous plants, and actually filmed a video unboxing this, repotting and caring for it. I just never had a chance to put it up, and I think I might have lost the footage already, so I can put it up now if I want to. But basically, carnivorous plants, they don't need soil, so this one's just been growing in perlite and sphagnum moss. Also don't need fertilizer. They don't get their nutrients from the roots from their soil. If anything, they just need the roots for stabilization. The nutrients they get is really more from their photosynthesis and from the insects that they eat. And I only use either filtered water or rainwater on it, because it even says on the box that it came in, I shouldn't use tap water, because tap water contains certain chemicals on it that might be okay for us, but very, very detrimental for carnivorous plants like this pitcher plants. It's either just filtered water or rainwater with this one, and I keep it in a bright location. For the most part, it has been in my kitchen just because over the summer we experienced a lot of like houseflies and whatnot, and this has been really good help for that. And right now it's in my room because I haven't really had any past experience in this room aside from maybe the occasional fungus gnats. But I noticed that ever since I brought this into my room, I haven't seen a single fungus gnat at all, so which was amazing. So I think I'm just going to keep this in my rooms to regulate the fungus gnat population inside my room. But yeah, so this is my fifth and last nice plant for this episode. But to be honest, I have so much more nice plants that I could include in this category, but I don't want to make it too long. And also those plants, I feel like they deserve their own day, so I'm giving their own moment. But this is my 5 easiest plants to take care of. They are my true plants of steels for true beginner plants that I would recommend for those who wants to start their plant journey, and they're also very affordable, so it's very easy to care for. That's our Plantmas story of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of 25 Days of Plantmas. And if you miss any episodes, all of them will be included in the playlist that links up in the card and down in the description. Thanks again for watching. I see you, I appreciate you, and have a plentiful holiday season, everyone. Bye!